ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां व्यासशंकरमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ ते भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम सहस्रशीर्षं देवं विश्वाक्षं विश्वशंभुवम् विश्वं नारायणं देवमक्षरं परमं पदम्. So until this we saw the last class. Right? So we saw up to Vishwam, Narayanam, Devam, Aksharam, Paramam, Padam. The next one. Vishwataf Paramanityam Vishwam Narayanagum Harim. So I think this also we saw, but never mind repeating it. So Vishwataha, in that belonging to Vishwaha. So Vishwataha, how is this Vishwataha? Is Paramam. So the Bhagavan or the Narayana is of the nature of Paramaha, that which is superior to the Vishwa also. So if there was a Vishwam, then this Narayana is also superior to Vishwa. So Narayana is superior to even the universe. So the universe is actually depending on the Narayana for support and existence and is blessed by Narayana. So Vishwataf Parama. So Paramam also is another word. So Paramam talks about that which is of the nature of higher order, superior nature, eternal Paramam. Then Nityam is another word. So Nityam means that which is always available. So that which does not go and come back. So Nityam is eternally available. Correct. So this world is available for eternal enjoyment. As long as we are alive, we will be enjoying this world. But at the same time, we also should understand that this world is sustained only by Narayana, by the Bhagavan. So whenever we see this universe we see the Bhagavan in that form. So we see the Narayana. That's why it says Parama Nityam. Then again Vishwam, all encompassing universe, Vishwam. Virat also can say. And this Vishwam Narayanagam Harim. So the Gum is actually Anunasika. It's actually a pronunciation in Sanskrit. Narayanagam means belonging to Narayana. So this Vishwam is belonging to Narayana and Narayanagam Harim. So the emphasis is given in the word Narayanagam. And this Narayanam is of the nature of Vishwam, of the nature of Nityam, of the nature of Paramam, of the nature of Vishwataha, all encompassing. So you go backwards and see that this Narayanam, so Vishwatah Parama Nityam Vishwam Narayanagam Harim. So this Narayanam is of the nature of Vishwam, Nityam. All these are adjectives for the Parama Purusha. So when you say Narayana, you can equal to who? Narayana is equal to Vishwam, is equal to Nityam, equal to Paramam, equal to Vishwataha. All encompassing, all surrounding Vishwam, Vishwataha, or belonging to this universe, or the one who controls the universe, Vishwataha. Then what does he do? He does Harim. So another name for Vishwa is Harim. So Harim means that which removes. So Harati iti Harihi. So Hari, when you say here, Hari means that person who removes the sorrow is called Harihi. So Harim also is another name for Vishnu. All these are names for this. Okay. So Vishwatah Paramadityam Vishwam Narayanagam Harim. Okay, next one. Vishwamevedham Purushastat Vishma Upajivati. Vishwamevedham Purushastat Vishwa Mupajivati. So, Vishwam Eva Vedam. So, Vishwam, the word Vishwam comes again and again here. See, Vishwam Narayanam, Vishwaksham, Vishwam Shambhuvam. So, Vishwam is always mentioned because the universe, or this entire Prapancha is of the nature of Eva Vedam, of knowledge. So, the all knowing personality, the one person who has to be known is present as Vishwam here. So this Narayana also is present as Vishwam Evedham. So in this manner, he is present as the Veda, as the knowledge itself is present in this universe. Then Purushaha Tat Purushaha Tat Vishwam Upajivati. So the word has to be broken into four. So Purushaha Tat means that. So that Purushaha or Purusha refers to is what here it talks about not the Purusha. It talks about the Jivas or the people who are living in this universe. So those Purushas is supported by Vishwam. So they belong to this universe called Vishwam. And Upajivati. So Jivati, when you say, means to live. So Jivati means to live, right? And Upajivati means the one who supports the living is called Upajivati. Or the one who lives along with you is called Upajivati. So the Jiva lives, along with that the Bhagavan also lives, right? So Upajivati. So Purushaha Tat Vishwam Upajivati. Okay. So Vishwamevedham Purushastat Vishwam Upajivati. So all this particular Narayana Suktam is actually more for contemplation, for meditation. So it is chanted, of course, but here all of these are actually meditation mantras. So when you say Upajivati, so I am the Jiva. So in the Jiva, who is there? Along with the Bhagavan is there. Who is living there? He is the Purushaha. He is present in what? In the Vishwam. He is the ruler of the Vishwam. He is Harim. He is Narayana. He is Param. He is Nityam. All these words, words indicate what? They indicate the absolute nature of the consciousness. Even though here the concept is for Saguna Brahma Upasana, but because of Vaishnava tradition and it is from the Vishishta Advaitam, so all these things are given as Vishnu, etc. But we should take it as the Vishnu is none other than consciousness. Right? He is of the nature of Paramam, Nityam, Vishwam, Narayanam, Narasyati Ayanam, Narayana. Right? So the only abode or the only destination for every human being is Narayanam. So Narayanagum Harim. So when you surrender to the Bhagavan, when you take the path of surrender to the Bhagavan, you will be free, or he will remove all the papam or dukkam from you, harihi. Unless you surrender to him, unless you will continue to be evolving, continue to suffer. That's what he says here. Then, Patim Vishwasyatmeshwaragum. Patim Vishwasyatmeshwaragum. Shashvadagum Shivamachyutam. Patim Vishwasyatmeshwaragum. Shashvadagum Shivamachyutam. So the first word called Patim. So Pati means the master or the Lord. So Pati represents the Lord or the master here. And who is this? Vishwasya. So he is the Lord of the universe. So Patim Vishwasya. And who is present in what? Atmaha. Atma. He is present as the Atma. So he is present as the Atma in the universe also. Also Ishwaram. So Atma Ishwaram. So the word you see Vishwasya, Vishwasyatmeshara Gum. So the Gum again is an emphasis word. It's Anunasika word there. So Vishwaha Atmaha Ishwaraha. So he is present as the very essence of the Atma in this universe. So the universe cannot exist independently without the consciousness. So the universe requires a consciousness for its existence, which is we all know, correct? So without the Atma being there, there cannot be any consciousness. That's why he says here Atma. Also is present as Ishvaraha. So Ishvara is what? Is the manifest universe. The one with the Maya Sahitam Upadi, with Maya power. The power of Maya is Ishvara. So Patim Vishwaha Asya Atmaha Atma Ishvaraha. So in this word, Vishwasya Atmaha Ishvaraha. So Atma means here the consciousness. Ishvara also means what? Saguna Brahma Upasana. So both are represented here. Atma is Nirguna Brahma Upasana. And Ishvara is what? Saguna Brahma Upasana. Correct? Hope you are following Siddharji. Okay. Then, so this Ishvara, the Gum is like emphasis. So this indeed is Narayana and he is a Patihi. He is the overlordship. He is the Lord of everything. He is the Lord of the entire Vishwam. He is also the one to be known as the Atma. He is also known as the Ishvara. So there is no other thing other than this. So you can call him any name. You can call him Ishvara. You can call him Atma, Vishwam. All of them ultimately belong to this only, this Bhagavan. So Patim Vishwasyatmeshwaragum. How is he Shashvatam? So Shashvatam means what? That which is stable. So it is always seated permanently there. It is forever, permanent. Shashvatam. See, Ashashvatam means that which is impermanent. So the physical body is Ashashvatam. Correct? Including the mind also is Ashashvatam. Because the mind will not be always be present all the time. Sometimes the mind is not present in deep sleep state. So it's called Ashashvatam. But the one which reflects the mind, even in deep sleep state, is called Shashvatam. So there also the Bhagavan is present as the consciousness. So Shashvatam, Shashvata Gum. So the word Gum always indicates emphasis. So all these are words. See, Patim, Atma, Ishwaram, Shashvatam. See, all these are what Vedantic words. Even though we study Narada Sukta, but all these are purely Vedantic words, Advaitic words. Then Shivam. Shivam means what? Auspicious. Badram, auspiciousness. Kalyanam, auspiciousness. Mangalam, auspiciousness. So Shivam indicates auspiciousness. Shivam indicates the owner of Shivaha. So Shivam means consciousness. See, in the Shivanyana Bodham class, we have seen. Right? So Shivanyana Bodham, what they say? Shivam and Shivan are different things. Shivan is called the manifest consciousness. Shivam is consciousness. So here, Shivam represents auspiciousness or fullness, you can say, which is the nature of consciousness. Correct? Whereas Shivaha, when you say, or Shivan, when you say, Shivan is a manifestation or rupam of the Shiva. The one who has got the qualities or the attributes of this consciousness is called Shiva, Shivaha. So subtle variations, right? So Shivam. Then Achyutam. Next word. So Achyuta means that which does not slip away. See, Chutaha means that which slips, that which goes away from you. So there is never a time when the Atma or the consciousness is going away from you. It is always there, always there. You cannot own consciousness, neither you can drop consciousness. You cannot own up new thing, saying that I'm going to take up ownership now. I'm going to start taking ownership of this consciousness. Neither you can say that I want to drop consciousness, because both of them are not possible. So, but you cannot take up Bhagavan, because Bhagavan is not some object to be taken up. Okay. And neither you can say that I'm going to drop the Bhagavan, I'm going to remove Bhagavan from my life, because you cannot even do that also. Because he is the very essence of everything. So when something is the essence of everything, how can you remove? You can cut a tree, right? You can cut the tree, you can cut the branches, you can cut the bark, everything you can cut. But can you take out the roots? Because roots are going somewhere else. Like the banyan tree, it's a very old tree. And if you want to cut the tree also, it will take you ages to cut it, number one. Second thing is, you do not know the roots are, where the roots are. The roots are already gone kilometers, somewhere under somewhere. You can't even trace the roots where it is. So you keep cutting the tree, or you keep growing the tree. The roots are always there, correct? That's what it says here, Chutaha. So, Shivam Achyutam. Patim Vishwasyatmeshwaragum Shashwadagum Shivam Achyutam. Is this clear so far? These meanings are clear. See, all Advaitic texts, Pushpaji, all Advaitic texts. Everything is Advaitam here. I don't know, when I read this, I look under Advaitam. I don't see any Advaitam at all here. Probably I'm tuned to this kind of, mentality now. So when I chant also, I see the same meaning here. Then another one. Narayanam Mahageyam. Narayanam Mahageyam. Vishwatmanam Parayanam. Narayanam Mahageyam. Vishwatmanam Parayanam. So, Narayanam means that which belongs to Narayana. Narayanam. So, the Narayanam meaning already explained to you before is the Ayanam means destination. Ayanam means the abode or the path or the ultimate destination. Sadhyam, you can call it. Right? Sadhyam, the Jiva Yatra class is Sadhya Sadhana Sambandhaha. Right? So Sadhyam means what that is to be achieved, and Sadhana means the means by which one has to achieve the Sadhyam. So Narayanam. Then how is this? See, there's one thing called Neyam. So the word Neyam means that to be known. Okay, Neyam. Jnanam, knowledge. Jnata, the knower. Neyam, to be known. Ariyapadum Porul. So, Aribavan, Ariyapadum Porul, and Arivu. So, Aribavan is called knower. Arivu is called knowledge. And Ariyapadum Porul is called Neyam. So, the knower, known, and knowledge. So who is Narayanan here? Narayanan is actually the knowledge which is there. That is to be known. So he is the ultimate knowledge. And who is supposed to know? The knower. Correct. And the knower is told how is Purushaha. See the previous verse, Purushas Tat Vishwam Upajivati. So the Purushaha or the people, Jivas which are there, they are the people who are living Jivati, and they are living on the basis of Upajivati. So the Bhagavan is living along with them as a support. So Sadhi Sadhanam is already there. You do not need to go anything beyond. No, I have to acquire special skills. See, sometimes when you ask people to study Shastram, they say, I'm not ready, I have to acquire the skills, I have to get this ready. In fact, there is nothing to be ready because you only have to have the intention to study. You only have to have a desire to know. Everything else is already there. You do not need to acquire anything special or prepare something special. See, Shastram says that one must have sadhana chatushtayam. One must have all these qualities. Adhikaritvam should be there, is there. But it doesn't mean that you go and first acquire them and then you validate and then you come back. It will be too late. So you have to do this simultaneously. So one has to start at a very young age or whatever age you got, time there, old age, you start and then you acquire the skills on the fly. So this like, it will keep correcting automatically. So as you learn, it will keep correcting. So Mahanyeyam. So it is not ordinary knowledge. What great knowledge. Or that person is of the nature of the one who is of the greatest person to be known in the Vedas. So Mahageyam. Then Vishwa Atmanam. So again same, if you see here, Vishwasya Atmeshwaragum. See before, Patim Vishwasya Atmeshwaragum Shashwadagum Shivamachyutam. Same here also, Vishwa Atmanam. So Vishwam means the universe. And the Atmanam means the one who is residing in the universe. So the Atma, the essence of every living and non-living beings, is called Atma here. So Vishwatmanam means this Bhagavan who is present in every non-living and non-living being, which is to be known as Mahageyam, and is of the nature of Narayanam. Okay. So Mahageyam, Narayanam, Vishwa Atmanam. And what is this? Parayanam. So Narayanam, Parayanam, both are same. See, Narayana also is called Paraha. So Paramatma, when you say, or Parabrahman in the Vaishishta Advaitam, they call Parabrahman. So that which is of the nature of superiority, it's called Parabrahman. So here also, Narayanam and Parayanam is the same thing. The one has to be achieved, the one where you have to ultimately resolve yourself in the Bhagavan. See, in the Vishishta Advaitam, they always, it is believed that Vishnu is supposed to be consciousness. So Vishnu is supposed to be the one to be arrived, or you have to reach to go to Vaikuntha. So they always tell you that, if you do all these things, you will go to Vishnu Loka, you will go to Vaikuntham there. And in Vaikuntham, you will be taken into the Bhagavan's fold. Correct. So there is always Vaikuntham, according to this, is an abode or is a place where Narayana lives. Correct. So Narayana lives in that place. Likewise, for the Shivan, the Shaivites also, Shiva Lokam is a place where Shiva lives. So Kailaya Nathar, correct. So Ekambara Nathar, all these things we say. So Kailayam means what? The Kailasha, where he lives. So the Shaivites follow the philosophy of going to Shiva Loka. The Vaishnavites follow the philosophy of going to Vishnu Loka or Vaikuntha. Correct. Both the Advaitic philosophers say both of them are only in space. So whether you go to Shivalokam or you go to Vaikuntham, both of them are actually in space. So whenever you go to some place, going itself is a action. And you always have a destination to reach. So destination, when you say, it is actually within time. Whereas when you say Kalatraya Atitaha, so when you say that I am Kalatraya Atitaha, means what I am beyond time, say. So Trikala Abhaditam is not there, so you are Trikala Abhaditam, right? So you are not affected by Trikalaha. That's what it says here. Parayanam. See, all these words are very important for contemplation. So when you say Parayanam, means you should remember that this is beyond time. And this is the way you should understand it. Okay. So we'll read the first 1 to 3rd mantra, then we go to the next one. Okay. Om Sahasrasirsham Devam Vishwaksham Vishwashambhuvam Vishwam Narayanam Devam Aksharam Paramam Padam Vishwatah Paramanityam Vishwam Narayanagum Harim Vishwamevedam Purusha Tat Vishva Upajivati Patim Vishwasyatmeshwaragum Shashwadagum Shivamachyutam Narayanam Mahageyam Vishwatmanam Parayanam. So for those people who know chanting, it is okay. For those people who do not know chanting, it's a good opportunity to learn chanting. And for those also who learned incorrectly, it's better to revise it also, to get it correct. So 3 things are served in this. So we are clear with 1 to 3 mantras. Okay. Then this ones from here, all these are again a little bit more detailed contemplation mantras. From 4 to 6, they are focusing more on the real contemplation. So the first section, 1 to 3, talks about the presentation of the Narayana as a Vishwa. The one who is present in all the universe is present in this form. He is Upajivati, he is of the nature of Aksharam, Paramam, Padam, all these things are there. So this describes the nature of the universe. The universe itself is indestructible. The universe doesn't get destroyed. You know that? The universe is not something product to be created again, gone back. So it is just a totram. It's a manifestation of the same consciousness. So really there is no destruction, there is no creation. There is only appearance and non-appearance. That's all it is. So in the first section, Sahasra Sirisham Devam Vishwaksham Vishashambhuvam, he gives the vision of the entire universe. Then Vishwam Narayanam Devam Aksharam Paramam Padam. So all these are again giving the vision of the person to see beyond oneself as the universe or the one who is present in this Vishwa. So the same we saw in Purusha Suktam also. Now he goes a little bit more about details. Okay. So let's see this one. Narayana Paro Jyotir Atma Narayana Paraha. So see the words Narayanaha Paraha. So same. So that Narayana who is of the nature of Paraha, that which is beyond everything. Correct. Para means that which is superior, that which is beyond everything. So we are called Paravidya, Aparavidya. Right? So Parashakti, Aparashakti. So any Shakti which you have of raising Kundalini, of, controlling your breath, standing on one leg, doing Sirsasana or yoga, all of them is called Aparashakti, including Ashtasiddhigal. See, Ashtasiddhigal mean People who are confident of having Shakti to forecast things, see things, they're all, Shaktis. So even the Shakti also is limited only to the person and to his time bound. Right? But here, when you say Narayana Paro or Aparaha, so that which is, sorry, Para means that is superior. So Narayana Paraha, that this Narayana, how is he? Jyotihi. Jyoti means light. And what is this? Jyoti of the Atma. So the light of the light. Atma itself is light. And Jyoti means what? Light of the light. So if there was a light available to you, that light is this light. So there is no other light required for a light to be told you are the light. Because light's nature is what? Swayam Prakashana. Right? So light itself means what? Illumination. And its nature is to what? Illumine. Light does not do an action called illumining because light's nature is illumining. So light doesn't say that I am illumining. So when you put on the switch in your room, light comes out. It doesn't say that I am illumining, but you are saying that the light is illumining. Correct? We say that light is illumining and light is there. That's why I can see. But light doesn't speak. That's why Jyoti also, sun also doesn't speak. The sun's nature is to illumine. The sun does not do an action called illumining. Same way the Bhagavan here also is present as a Jyoti in the Atma. So Jyotir Atma. It's a famous mantra also in the Arati mantra. Na tatro suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyitho bhanti kuto yam agnihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. So what it means is, see, in that land where I live or where the Bhagavan lives, there is na tatra, means there is no. So na means negation, tatra means there. So there is no what? Suryaha, there's no sun there. Chandraha, there's no moon. And Agni also is there. Chandra Tarakam means what? Stars. So there are no moon, there is no stars, there is no sun in my land where I live, where it is. Correct? And there's also one Agni, Kutoyam Agnihi. So Agni also is not there. Why he says? Because Tameva Bhantam. So because these things shine because of what? Anubhati Sarvam. I shine, therefore these shine. That means only when you are available for as a knower, sun is available for recognition. If you are not there as a knower, then sun also is not available for you. There's no stars for you. There's no fire for you. If you don't wake up, let's say tomorrow you go to sleep and then at deep sleep state, the sun, where is the sun for you? Sun is not there. Because even though it's available for recognition, you're not there. It's not available, correct? So when you wake up in the morning, the sun wakes up after you, not before you. Even though sun wakes up before you, it is there, always there. It doesn't wake up. Sun doesn't wake up, sun doesn't sleep. So what people, sun actually rises in the morning, sets in the evening. It doesn't, because there is no sunrise, there is no sunset. It's always light. The moon is only a a reflector. So it just takes the light of the moon, it reflects itself. The stars also shine at night due to the sun's power. So when you see the moon, you see the sun indirectly. When you see the stars, you see the sun also. So what is that? There's only one light. There's no moonlight. There's no starlight. There's no twilight. It's only light. Correct? So if you look at sunlight, moonlight, starlight, twilight, all of them has got the word light. So light is essence. Same thing here. Jyotir Atma. So Jyotir Atma. So that which is present as the Atma in everything is of Narayana Paraha. Right? So Narayana Paraha. So again, Paraha, the word is used here for so again the word Paraha means that which is beyond, that which is to be. So this Narayana is of the nature of Paraha and is of the nature of Jyotihi, Jyotiratma. So the word Param, Param, Paraha keep repeating for contemplation. So whenever you see the Narayana Paraha, Narayana Param, it means what? The repetition is set for understanding. So the more you repeat the mantra, the more you repeat the meaning, it becomes set in your mind. If you say once, you will not know. You'll go to some other word. But the same word keeps again and again. If you say Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, keep on chanting the mantra, then the Om Namah Shivaya repetition is actually for is understanding the meaning of the mantra Om Namah Shivaya. So it is only to reiterate the importance of contemplation and remembering that. Then, so Narayana Paro Jyotiratma Narayana Paraha. The next one, Narayana Param Brahma Tattvam Narayana Paraha. So this Narayana again is Param Brahma. So he's not Sagunam Brahma, he's Param Brahma. So here the word comes Param Brahma. So Narayanam Param Brahma. Right? So of the nature of Paraha, that which is supreme consciousness or full pure consciousness is this Narayana. And or what is he? Tattvam. Tattvam means what? The truth. The truth. So the ultimate truth is called Tattvam. So Tat Tvam Asi. Right? So Tattvam means not that Tattvam means not that that Tattvam means the truth. So you are that when you say that you are not this, you are that. So that is the truth. So Tattvam Asi is not actually some. It is a statement. It is a complete statement. It is not some assumption or inference to be arrived at. It is saying that you are that means that is what it is. How to arrive at it is different. Right? So Tattvam. And again, Narayana Paraha. So Narayana Param Brahma Tattvam Narayana Paraha. Then again, Narayana Paro Dhyatha. Narayana Paro Dhyatha. Dhyanam Narayana Paraha. Narayana Paro Dhyatha. Dhyanam Narayana Paraha. So this Narayana Paraha, or this Narayana who is of the nature of supreme consciousness, is being worshipped by whom? Dhyatha. So Dhyatha means, Jnata means the knower, Dhyata means the worshipper or the meditator. So they say Dhyanam means what? Meditation. Dhyayate means meditating. And Dhyata means the knower. Dhyanam, see the word Dhyanam there? So Dhyata, what does it do? It does Dhyanam. So Dhyana means what? Contemplation or meditating. And what does he meditate on? Narayana Paraha. So he meditates on, or the people who are supposed to be sincere, or the committed people, they worship on this feature or this aspect of Narayana, who is of the nature of Paraha. You have to add these words. See, whenever you read this mantra, you have to add the previous words to that. So what do you meditate? Dhyata, the meditator, does dhyanam on the nature of Narayana, who is Paraha, who is of the nature of Tattvam, who is of the nature of Param Brahma, who is of the nature of Jyotiratma. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, it is not just reading the mantra from the beginning. You'll have to read the mantra saying that, oh, I am meditating on this Narayana. I am the meditator. I am doing dhyanam of, and dhyanam for what? Of this Narayana who is Paraha, who is of the nature of Param Brahma, who is of the nature of Tattvam, who is Jyotiratma, who is of the nature of Mahanyeyam, that which is to be known, who is Vishwa Atmanam, the essence of everything in this universe, who is Shivam, Achyutam, Shashwatam, Ishwaram, Pathim, Upajivati, Vedam, Harim, right? Paramam, Padham, all these things are to be remembered. So it is not just mechanically chanting this. So this I told in the beginning itself, it is a contemplation mantra. So whenever, it's a good idea actually for you to write down the meaning of, this is what is the meaning. So you will come up with 34 to 40 names, 40 different qualities of this Bhagavan, who is actually of this nature. So whenever you read this particular text, you will remember the meaning of that Achyutam, right? Achyutastakam, I remember, like I'm teaching the children Achyutastakam in the class. So Achyutam Keshavam is also there, na? Krishna Damodaram. So Ramanar Janaki Vallabham. So there are Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram. So Dama Uddaraha, Damodaram. Then, so Narayana Paro Dhyata Dhyanam Narayana Paraha. Next one. Yacha Kinchit Jagat Sarvam. Yacha Kinchit Jagat Sarvam. Drishyate Shruyate Piva. Yacha Kinchit Jagat Sarvam. Drishyate Shruyate Piva. So Yacha Kinchit. Kinchit means anything which is there, this entire universe. Jagat Sarvam. So Jagat means this universe which is of the nature of coming and going. Coming and going in what? The universe comes in the morning, the universe goes in the evening. So Jayate Gacchate di Jagat. So this Jagat, Sarvam, right? So whatever you see here, Kinchit means what? Anything you see here. So anything, small, big, living, everything here. Jagat Sarvam. Drishyate he means what? Drishyate means seen, being seen, right? So all these things is seen and heard. Drishyate Shruyaha. So Shruyati means what? Listening. So Shruti means listening. Anything which is heard, anything which is seen is of the nature of this universe. And what is this? Tat Sarvam. See, Jagat Sarvam. So, Yachakinchit Jagat Tat Sarvam. So, all that universe which is of the nature of everything, which is small, big, small, everything is there, is the entire universe. And is seen, Drishyate. I see this universe. So, Dhyata, what does he do now? He is meditating, correct? Dhyata Dhyanam. Then he sees, oh, I see this universe as me. I see this universe as Samashti Vichara is coming into picture there. And I also hear. So anything which I hear, anything which I see is nothing but this Narayana. Is present as this. Correct? Shruyate api va. So api, va means what? The va means either you listen or you hear or you see. So va means or. So either you hear or you see, and whatever I hear or whatever I see is this entire thing is this universe is Bhagavan, this of the nature of Narayana. Then he says, Antar Bahishcha Tat Sarvam, Antar Bahishcha Tat Sarvam, Vyapya Narayana stitaha antarbahishcha tat sarvam vyapya narayana stitaha. So antarbahi. So antara bhakti, bahya bhakti. So I think I taught you in some other class before. You must know bhakti types, right? So antara bhakti, bahya bhakti, anya bhakti, ananya bhakti, right? Sakama bhakti, nishkama bhakti. So all these are different bhakti types. Here also, your meditation also is what? Dhyanam, antara dhyanam, bahya dhyanam. So when you do antara dhyana, means what? You are actually bringing the object into your own mind, and you are meditating on in your mind itself. The object doesn't matter to you anymore because the object is no longer actually affecting you. But for some people, without the object, it is difficult to meditate. Unless you go to the temple or unless you sit in front of the altar, mantra will not come to you, or the mood also will not come to you. So you'll have to sit in front of the temple or the puja there and do all the rituals. Then you start saying, then only you connect. So suddenly, if you just sit in one place, let's say Pushpa sitting in the sofa like this, and if I say meditate, what will you meditate mean? All these things are already gone into your mind, and 24/7 it should be registered there. Like the blood flows in your body, this should remember, right? So for some it is possible, for some it is not possible. But so it says here andar bahischa means bahi means outside, and tat sarvam. Again, all these things existing here, that sarvam, vyapyaha means what? That which is pervaded. So anything which is inside and outside is pervaded. So vyapyati means that which is pervaded, that which is spread everywhere. It's called Narayanaha. So this Narayana is the one which is present in me, inside and outside, antar bahischa tat sarvam. So it's a very important statement. This one is actually a real, because it removes the concept of use jiva at all. So when you say the jiva, you say that I am here, and then the universe is different from me. But here, what does it say? Antar bahischa tat sarvam. So inside me, outside me. Correct? So all of them is what? Is Narayana only here. So I am not different from Narayana at all. So where is the question of you suffering? Even Bhagavan doesn't have suffering. What do we say? Bhagavan doesn't have punyam and papam. Correct? So when you think you are a jiva, when you think that I am a jivati, jiva jivati, and upajivati, correct? Very important. So jivati means the person who lives, to live. And upajivati means what? The person who makes you live, or the person who lives alongside with you. They are both same. There's really no thing called jiva at all. There's no jiva because jiva is anadi. Bhagavan is also anadi. But due to the ignorance, due to the avidya which is present there, the jiva gets a term as called I am a jiva. But once you remove this philosophy called jiva at all, of this I am not a jiva anymore, I am this universe, I am also this part of the universe, and this universe is none other than Narayana, then what do you call yourself Narayana? So then I pervade, I am actually present in everything. So antar bahishya tat sarvam vyapya narayanaha astitaha means I am established, I am steady, I am established here, stitaha means this is ready there, actually there. So antar bahishya tat sarvam vyapya narayana stitaha. Next one. Anantamavyayam kavigum. Anantamavyayam kavigum. Samudhrendham vishwashambhuvam. Anantamavyayam kavigum. Samudhrentam vishwashambhuvam. So, Anantam, one word. Anantam means what? That which is limitless. Right? Anantam, limitlessness. Avyayam, that which is cannot be decayed or that which cannot have any death. Right? It's called Avyayaha. See, Kshaya means that which decays. Avyayam means that which cannot be removed or that which cannot be destroyed at all. So there is two things, Ksharam, Avyayam. So Ksharam means that which is supposed to decay, which will deteriorate over a period of time. So this body is called Sharam. So whereas the Bhagavan is called Akshara. So that which does not decay, does not degrade in performance. Same way here also Avyayam. Then Kavigum, another word, Kavigum. See, Kavi means not a poet. Kavi means the person who is a wise person. So Kavi, they say, Kavim Kavidam, say, Upamashravastamam, Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashriman Nodbi Siddhasadhanam. So there also we say Kavim Kavinam. So if there was a Kavi, he is a Kavinam of the Kavi. Right? So if there was somebody who is actually a wise person, he is the wisest of the wise person. Kavim Kavinam. So here also Kavigum. So the word Kavigum gives emphasis that this is a wise person, or he is the one who is the most knowledgeable person. Right? Then Samudrentam. So Samudra Antaha. So here Samudra means not, don't talk about the Samudra here. Samudra means here, talks about the Samsara Kadal. Or the Samsara is supposed to be the ocean of Samsara. Right? Sagaraha. See, in the Vishnu Shakti Sutram also there. Tare Samsara Sagaraha. Right? So Taraya Samsara Sagaraha. Avinaya, I'll teach you some other day, I'll teach you that also. So, same here also, Samudra Antam. So the one who ends this samsara is called Samudra Antaha. Samudrentam. So again, Anantam, Avyayam, Kavim, Samudrentam, Vishwa Shambhuvam. Shambhu, the Lord. Right? So Shambhu, when you say here, Sham Karoti Shankaraha, means the one who does or brings happiness is called Shambhu. So Shambhu means the one who brings happiness. Right? And where does he bring happiness? To entire Vishwa. So the one who is responsible for the bringing happiness to the entire universe, who is the one responsible for ending the samsara, who is the most knowledgeable person, who is Avyayam, who is Anantam, who is Vyapyam, Tatsarvam, Antarbahischa, all these things keep adding. So one definition of Narayana is equal to what? So many definitions. Correct? So you should have, oh, Narayana equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like this, not 20 different words are there, or 30 words. So by the time you come to completion of this, you would have come across 60, 70 words which describe the typical Advaitic philosophy words. See, Anantam is an Advaitic word, limitlessness. Avyayam is what? That which is imperishable. Okay. Kavigum, Kavi is a wise person. Correct. And Vishwam, Shambhu. Right. So we'll read this again from the beginning up to here. The next class will do the next one. Om Sahasrasirasham Devam Vishwaksham Vishwashambhuvam Vishwam Narayanam Devam Aksharam Paramam Padam Vishwatah Paramanityam Vishwam Narayanagum Harim Vishwamevedam Purusha Tat Vishma Upajivati Patim Vishwasyatmeshwaragum Shashwadagum Shivamachyutam Narayanam Mahageyam Vishwatmanam Parayanam नारायण परो ज्योतिरात्मा नारायणः परः नारायण परं ब्रह्म तत्त्वं नारायणः परः नारायण परो ध्याता ध्यानं नारायणः परः यच्च किञ्चित् जगत् सर्वं दृश्यते श्रूयतेऽपि वा अन्तर्बहिश्च तत्सर्वं व्याप्य नारायणस्थितः अनन्तमव्ययं कविगुं समुद्रेन्दं विश्वशम्भुवम् पद्मकोशप्रतीकाशगुं हृदयं चाप्यतो मुखम्. So this particular line, Panchakosha Pratikashagum Hridayam Chapya Tomukham. So Panchakosha Aditaha. So that it talks about the Panchakosha, the 5 layers of personality. Anname Kosha, Praname Kosha, Vijnaname Kosha, Manome Kosha, Anandame Kosha. So 5 different layers of personality. So he talks about that. Then Hridayam Cha Api Atho Mukham. So it's present in the Hridayam. Okay. So we'll look at this next class. Have you got any questions in today's class? So you know the method of Dhyanam, right? So Dhyanam method should be that you have to go back. So Dhyata is me. I am doing Dhyanam. Yes, Pushpaji.
The Vishwame Vedam Purushaha. Can we just chant that line once again?
Yeah.
Tad.
Patim Vishwasyatmeshwaragum.
No.
Before that?
Before that, yeah.
Vishwame Vedam Purushastat Vishwa Mupajivati.
Okay.
So, Vishwame
Vedam Purusha.
So, the Vedam, this is Sura there. Vishwame Vedam Purusha Tat Vishwa Mupajivati. So, if you look at the Purusha, so Ru is going up, Sha is going down. Purusha Tat Vishwa Mupajivati. Clear? So, lot of swaras are there. But be very careful about the swaras. When you chant fast, Vishwame Vedam Purusha Tat Vishwa Mupajivati, like this. Like Rudram. But you have to be very careful. Vishwame Vedam Purusha Tat Vishwam Upajivati Patim Vishwasyatmeshwaragum Shashvatagum Shivamachyutam. Is the meaning clear to you? Any other thing you want to know? Or have you got the meaning of all the words for today?
The gum is to be pronounced as gum, ji.
Gum.
Kavi gum.
Kavi gum. Because the gum is actually Chandra Bindu. It's actually Ananasika. So it's given for emphasis. See, somewhere it will be gum also, but it's here gum. So whenever you see Chandra Bindu there, it's gum. So the particular gum or gum is actually for emphasis. It doesn't add anything there. It's a way of chanting. It's a method of chanting. That's what it is there. So the key thing is Narayanam, Narayanagum Harim, Narayanagum Harim. So anything else? Anyone has got any questions? Srikanji, all clear?
Yeah, I'm good.
Sriramji, you're okay?
All good. Thanks.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tatsate Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Namaste Shubhratri Prabha.
Namaste.